Welcome to The Shadow Side with Safrianna, the podcast where we illuminate what others too often keep hidden in the dark. I'm your host, Safrianna Luna, and I believe that true growth and healing happen when we're brave enough to explore the shadows. As you listen, may you find greater understanding and awareness around your personal stories and collective trends. Take care of yourself, and let's dive in. I am so delighted, as always, to be back here and to have the opportunity to talk with all of you today about shadow side topics. So just in case you don't know me, I'm Safrianna Luna, the Queer Spirit Guide. I am a just creative human being here being me and doing what I can do to uplift the collective. The shadow side is all about us talking about the things that are really uncomfortable to talk about so that we know that we're not alone. And today, I specifically want to talk about what happens to some of us when Mother Gaia or our planet is suffering. So, I'm going to do a little bit of background information, a little bit of storytelling today, give you all some tips and tricks, and hopefully you'll see some of your own self in this. If you're in my world, there's a good chance that you really understand the planet to be a living, breathing entity. And if that doesn't land for you, there still might be some gems in this for you today, and maybe some understanding of why other people are going through what they're going through right now. So when I was a little kid, I spent so much of my time outside laying in the branches of what I called my mother maple. This maple tree was my home, really, my home outside of my family system, my safe space, the place that I would go. And I knew that this maple tree had a personality, that she had a life force that was uniquely her own, that she was taking care of me and teaching me and helping me grow in ways that other human beings couldn't even necessarily do. And I've written many poems about my mother maple tree. But that was really the time in my life when I felt deeply connected to the energy of Earth herself, or Terra Gaia, Gaia, Mama Gaia, whatever you want to call her. I knew I was deeply connected to her and that she held and supported me. And I knew that this tree was an extension of Mother Earth's maternal energy. And I just felt so safe, so supported, so loved by this tree. And then I started public school, and like preschool and kindergarten weren't really a big deal, but it was really, I would say, first grade, second grade, third grade was when I started to really feel the pressures of the world, the pressure to succeed by societal standards, the pressure to perform in a certain way, to show up in a certain way, to get certain grades, to prove my worthiness in this new way. Again, I had this internal and inherent knowing that I was worthy and connected to the planet. And then that was lost in kind of all of the chaos of modern society. And so this was me cutting off my gift of earth sense. So just as a super quick recap, Red Moon Eagle and I have talked about this a lot in our podcast. That series, we've gotten into a lot of intuitive gifts. We've gotten into planetary conversations. We've gotten into universal level, cosmic spiral type conversations. We've talked about it all. But these foundational gifts are one of the most important topics, I think, that I wish like all humans knew. So there are 3 foundational gifts that every single human being has at least one of. They may have all 3, or they may have just 1, or they may have 2. But these gifts are empathy, energy sensitivity, and earth sense. So empathy is literally the ability to feel others' emotions, essentially through filaments or tendrils or little feelers that come out of an empath's body, of course not seen, that go out and they like taste, they gently touch someone else to see how they're feeling. And this can happen completely subconsciously. It's something we want to be empowered around, of course, but that's what an empath does inherently. Energy sensitives walk into a space, they are around people and they feel the vibes, they feel the energy, they feel the ambiance, and they can gather information from that felt sense in the energy field. They don't have the little filaments that are outreaching. It's more like a big bubble, and their field just takes in what's around them. And then the third gift is earth sense. And the gift of earth sense is the one I'm really focused on today. And that is the knowing that this planet is a living, breathing entity with feelings and sentience, right? And that we can be connected to that. So again, every person has one of these three gifts, if not all three, and possibly a combination of two. So I am a person with all three. We call this, Red and I call this the trifecta. So I am going to talk specifically about trifectas today because we are freaking feeling it, my friends. But whether you are an empath, an energy sensitive, an earth sense first, or a combination of all of those, the situations in our planet right now are really hard to sit with, to witness. And for those of us with earth sense, there's this giant, this is awful. Things that are happening in our collective right now are awful. But when you have earth sense, seeing, witnessing, feeling, even if we don't see it, we may feel it. The suffering of the planet impacts us so much more deeply. So with wildfires and various water pollution and environmental disaster and oil spills and all of these environmental things that have impacted us for way too long now that we need to repair. All of these things, as they happen and as they continue to stack up, an earth sense person who can feel the emotions, the vibrations, the information, however that's coming through, of the planet herself, are really struggling right now, because not only is there the weight of the human collective, but also the suffering of animals, the suffering of the land, the suffering of traditions, and the loss of life. It's really, really devastating. And so I really just want to recognize that this truth of our pain can't be bypassed. We can't ignore this, right? So for me and a lot of the clients I work with, in fact, I believe at this point, all of my clients I'm currently working with are trifectas. So they have the gift of empathy, they have the gift of energy sensitivity, and they have the gift of earth sense. This is a highly sensitive makeup. This is a highly sensitive to information coming in from all sorts of angles. And it can be overwhelming when the planet is suffering, the collective is suffering, and animals are suffering, right? It's like all this suffering is felt through all of these different channels. And that has a huge impact on us. I think first, I just want to recognize there have been ancient cultures, indigenous cultures, cultures present still today that recognize the earth as a conscious being that we are here in stewardship of and to take care of and to be in communion with. And that is really, really important because that has been lost, right? In this constant drive for hustle and more money and resources and hoarding energy, right? If I don't have enough, like, what's going to happen, right? But it's often this, I need to have more for me, because what happens if someone else gets the last piece, right? And we've lost this community collaboration. But Earth Sense really reminds us that we are interconnected. We are a unified planet here as beings trying to live a life of dignity and integrity. And it's really, really hard to persist when there are such constant disasters happening around us. I could get into the science, like all of us are connected to the Earth's rhythms. We're interconnected with the seasons. The Earth has a vibration itself. There's so many ways that we are connected with the planet. And we can't deny our biological connection to the planet. Without the planet, we would not exist. Without the planet, we could not continue because we're not at a stage where we can technologically leave. And even if we were at a stage where we could technologically leave, not everybody would get to go. So we really need to preserve the beauty of this planet for ourselves and for all of the next generations coming up. We are deeply interconnected with this planet. So this gift of being connected to her, really, if you are a person that's deeply connected to her, right now you might be noticing like extra physical sensations or heaviness in your body. You might be having increased dreams or visions. I know one of my clients shared that they had some form of vision about the wildfires before they happened. And there is this sense of just dread that comes with this I don't know what's happening next. I'm uncertain. And with that comes this heightened awareness of what's supposed to be the natural cycle, yet what has become disrupted because of modern society and the way that we go about things. So there is deep, deep grief that so many of us are experiencing right now around the environmental destruction. And I just want to normalize that. A person who does not have earth sense might be like, oh, this is really sad. Oh my gosh, people are losing their homes and their belongings and lives are being lost. And maybe there's even some compassion towards the animals who have lost their habitats. But there isn't this like deep environmental grief. So if you are feeling deep environmental grief right now, you may have this underlying gift of earth sense, which allows you to source information and feel what's coming through earth herself. With that can come intuitive knowledge of plants and seasonal cycles and symbolism and all kinds of fun stuff. But the shadow side of it is this constant current deep grief, right? Because when we look around again, we have lots of places, and I'm just going to speak to the United States right now because that's where I live. And there are all kinds of things all over the world that I am not an expert on, but I certainly know that there is suffering going on. Here in the United States, we have plenty of places where there's not drinkable water because it has become so polluted. There are places that there have been spills. There are places that have been fires and are ongoing fires. There are places where we're seeing dread. You very well might be working with earth sense. So I want to share about that because I think so many of us have this underlying gift that we haven't recognized or had someone else recognize in us, that we really do have this sensitive extra information coming through. And again, if you are a trifecta, so you have that empathy and energy sensitivity as well, you're going to be getting so much information coming through. The vibrational energy, the emotional information, like all of that can be so overwhelming, especially when it has to do with the energy of suffering. So your sensitivity is a gift, right? Our sensitivity is a gift. It shows us so much information. It brings us into who we are. And it is a very hard check because this anxiety, this climate grief, right, is just it's not fun to carry. It's not fun to experience. And that can lead us to feel very isolated, to feel very overwhelmed, to feel like we have to fix it or carry the burden somehow. And yeah, there's not anything one person can do to change it all. So it goes back to, how do we take care of ourselves in the midst of all of this shadow and all of this suffering and just all of this anxiety about what the future brings? Now, for trifectas like myself and many people, whether you are a trifecta or not, when we get overwhelmed, we want to numb. We want to turn away. We don't want to be in that energy anymore because it flippin' sucks. And this is where there's the invitation to find the hidden wisdom that's in our pain, to sit with it, to be with it, and then to nourish ourselves, take care of ourselves, and see what comes next. It's, if I notice there's all this energy of suffering and I'm really struggling and I just don't know how to go on, that is my mind and body, my system's way of communicating, hey, too much is happening here. We need to take care of ourselves. So overwhelm, isolation, anxiety, depression, right? All of those are an invitation to go back to yourself, back into your own roots, and to take care of yourself. So I'm going to offer just a couple practices today. Maybe you can use if you're feeling this environmental overwhelm, if you're feeling this pain, this suffering. But the invitation is really to be with the shadow, to be with the discomfort, and see what's underneath that you can actually do something with. So again, the first step is just coming back to yourself, knowing that you can't fix it all right now, right? I know so many people who, when there's great suffering happening, they just find themselves doom scrolling the news. They find themselves looking up every piece of information and getting completely and utterly depleted in that because it's so overwhelming. They know there's nothing they can do about that breadth of information. So step one, go within, recognize this as the invitation to pause in your overwhelm and see what's going on. Next, how do you support yourself? Not how do you take action outside of you and go try to fix or change or any of that, but how do you support you? So body-based, energy-based, creation-based, that's what we're looking at here. So for those of you with Earth Sense, the most important thing you can do is get outside. If you recognize that you start to feel depressed when you don't go outside frequently, again, another sign you could be working with Earth Sense here. But also nature is just important to all of us. Again, we're integrally connected to the planet. We all need vitamin D. But for those of us with Earth Sense, one of the most powerful ways we can transmute energy is to be in relationship with the planet, to put our feet on the earth, to sit, to lay, to have direct contact with the earth, and to breathe, to be, to co-create, to meditate, whatever it looks like, but just to be on and with Earth herself. So getting outside. Now, it is cold as a witch's titty. I'll use that saying because I think it's funny. It is cold as a witch's titty here. I am like, I don't want to go outside right now, but I'm still trying to go outside, even if it's just for literally 30 seconds or a minute, to look at the moon, to look at the snow, because it's still very bright and snowy here, to observe the trees, the birds, something. Just get outside, even if it's for 30 seconds. Take a nice deep breath and then come back in. Now, if you live somewhere it's warmer, hopefully you can go and put your feet on the ground. I can't really do that when the whole ground is covered in snow right now. But moving with the earth, breathing with the earth, these are all beautiful practices that we can do. And worst case scenario, right? You just get outside for 1 second, take in that deep breath of air and just connect, acknowledge. Energy boundaries. So I'm going to say emotional and energetic boundaries here. As I mentioned, some of us get in that doom scroll. We're like, I need to take all this information in. I need to stay appraised as to what is happening. I need to know the latest. I hear you. I feel you. And I know what it's like to want to stay updated all the time. That can be extremely overloading. So I actually suggest making containers for looking up what's going on, for receiving news, for seeing what's going on. And in that, I want to caveat and add and fact check. So I think it makes more sense when we create containers. Okay, I'm going to go to this news source and I'm going to look and see what the latest is. And I'm going to do that once a day, once a week, once every other week, whatever is right for you. I'm not going to say exactly what's right for you, but chances are, unless you're a journalist and you are constantly reporting on these news pieces coming out, you don't need to stay constantly scrolling and updating yourself about everything that's going on in the world. So be discerning about how much you actually need to interface with information all the time. And be gentle with yourself if you're like, yeah, I can't take this information in every day without it taking me out, without it exhausting me. That is legitimate. And if, again, you're a trifecta, or you have Earth Sense first, or you are just highly sensitive in some way, constantly being bombarded with this bad news is not going to do you any good. And it's not helping you go take action. So that's the next part of this. Okay, I've created the container. I'm looking at the news. I'm updating myself. To what end? What is this energetically doing for you? What are you going to do with it energetically or emotionally? How are you taking action? Because if we continue to consume all this bad news, right, but we can't do anything or act on it at all, we feel really disempowered. And when we're doom scrolling 24/7, there's nothing we can do, right? We're so drained. So it's more, okay, for me, for example, I'm more here to support the communities right now. So I have been making it like once a day, going in and checking in with one of my online communities that's been doing a lot of the updates about the news. And that's my anchor point. So how can you create some container around it so you are not constantly bombarded, overwhelmed by this information? Again, if you have earth sense, you're potentially going to feel the suffering anyway, even if you're not going and looking at the news. So a lot of us do get the sense of, again, something impending and what that impact is going to be. And we'll feel a little crazy. What is this? What's happening? Where's this information coming from? And it literally may be that we are sourcing information through the planet herself. And it's really overwhelming right now. So again, give yourself grace. And then ceremony, honoring through ceremony, sending energy through ceremony. This is one of those things, even if you can't take any other major action, right? You don't have the finances or the ability to travel, or you're not an activist, you're not connected into journalism. Like there's not much for you, the average person, quote unquote, to do. If you resonate with that, the most important thing you can do is still hold the energy and hold that energy in yourself, link in with your community, hold that energy with your community, and move towards activism in your own way. So that can look so many different ways, right? It can look like speaking up. It can look like front lines. It can look like private ceremony where you are just sending energy. If you're spiritual, if you are religious, maybe you're sending prayers, you're holding visions, you are just anchoring into the highest good for all. And you're taking care of yourself. You're doing the tangible acts of taking care of yourself to echo and have this ripple effect of taking care of one another and of the climate. Again, you as an individual can't do anything. You can't do shit if you are not resourced and taking care of yourself. You won't have the energy and the resources to go out and do what you want to do. So chances are, if you're listening to me, you're the kind of person that wants to have a great impact. You want to change the world. You want to make it a better place. And that starts with in yourself, being kind, compassionate, healthy, taking care of you so that you have the resources to go out and do what you need to do. Because Mama Gaia doesn't want you to self-sacrifice in her name either, unless that's literally part of your blueprint. I haven't met anyone who's meant to go throw themselves on the sword at this point, but there could be people out there, but I think our most important job is taking care of ourselves. And when the planet is suffering, when Mama Gaia is suffering, there can be this hopelessness, this I don't know what to do. There's nothing I can do, right? Just this despair. And you can hold the vision. You can take care of yourself. You can do ceremony. You can create your own containers. You can support your community. You can check in on loved ones. There's so much you can do, even if you can't change and fix the whole big problem that's here right now with the suffering of our planet. So I want to just remind us that the most powerful thing, the most impactful thing that we can do is take care of ourselves and then connect in community, be sacred partners instead of trying to have a savior complex and fix it all. Because again, that just leads to burnout. And to find our own unique role in healing the planet. Again, we can't do it all. We're all going to do our own little part. What does that look like? And there's so many things we can do. I highly recommend the book Give a Shit. It is by Ashley. Oh, let's see if I can remember this. Give a Shit by Ashley. Real-time Googling here, friends. I think it's Piper, but yes. Give a Shit by Ashley Piper. This is a great book that talks so much about the little things we can do to support the environment and really, really just do so much better with the resources that we have. Because some of us still have room to grow and how we take care of the planet as the planet takes care of us. But it's something that I'm really, really passionate about. And I want you to know that there are things you can do that might seem inconsequential, but really do add up and make a difference. So yeah, it's called Give a Shit, Do Better, Live Better, Save the Planet by Ashley Piper. That's with 2 E's. That's a great resource if you want to look it up. But For now, I want us to just do a nice grounding practice and work here together to send some resilience out through the roots and to just try to connect in. We're all on this planet together. We're all experiencing suffering in some capacity because of all the things happening in the world, and it's really heavy. So let's just take some moments to be here and to be with our sensitivity and send out some love. So I'll just invite you to just take a nice deep anchoring breath. Let the shoulders drop away from the ears as you exhale. And we will just connect down through our sits bones, down through the pelvic floor, down into the earth, sending little tap roots down, down, down. Seeing these roots spread and grow with each breath. The breath fueling your roots as they extend. You can let the exhale be passive. The inhale really pulling beautiful energy in and down. And seeing your roots connected through Mama Gaia, underneath her surface, reaching out and connecting with the other earth-sensitive people who are here, trying to help lift the vibration, trying to help alleviate the suffering, and who are feeling so deeply the pain of this present reality. Feel that interconnectedness, knowing you are not alone. And then using the breath here to begin sending golden or green or whatever other color feels intuitively right for you. Just sending this colored light down through your roots to give back to the earth. Sending love, peace, healing, ease. Just giving this moment of energy to Mama Gaia, seeing how the breath creates the fuel, that you don't have to do anything extra. You don't have to give anything extra of yourself. Just this moment, this breath, this attention, and your intention to help uplift the collective, reduce the suffering, and come home to yourself. Just feeling those roots, knowing that you are supported by this beautiful planet, and you can support her too through your tenderness, your compassion, your offering of energy, through learning, growing, sharing. You don't have to spiral the drain and doom scroll. You don't have to know every piece of news immediately as it's released. You don't even have to know every single disaster happening, but you do have to come home to yourself in order to be able to have your empowerment in the world, to be able to take action and know what is yours to do. So just breathing deeply here, calling yourself back home, calling yourself deeply back in, feeling your own energy, head to toe, and feeling that grounded connection to Mother Earth, Mama Gaia, and just offering, if you can, a moment of gratitude to Earth herself for supporting you, sustaining you, for the gift of this body, of food, of laughter, of pleasure and joy, of play, all of those possible because we're here. And we want to make sure that they continue to be possible for us and for future generations to enjoy the beauty and bounty of this planet. So one more nice deep breath, just calling yourself home, remembering that you are most impactful when you are resourced yourself, when you are taking care of yourself as much as you can first. And then you can determine what is yours to do and how you want to act out in the world. And those answers will come over time. They won't come through pushing and striving and more suffering. They come through compassion, ease wherever we can, joy wherever we can, and above all, community. So you might just energetically feel yourself connected to the roots, connected to your grounding, but knowing that you are able to move, knowing that you're not literally grounded, you're not tethered. So just feeling the oneness and the separation between you and Mother Earth. And then really beginning to come back into the body, wiggling the fingers and toes. And opening the eyes when you're ready to do so. I'll just invite you to take some moments to come back, maybe look around. I always like to do my no tiger twist, right? Where we twist and we see there's not a tiger running behind me about to eat me. I'm not in danger. Right here and now, I'm safe. To all of the people impacted by the fires happening right now, I am sending you the utmost love and holding the vision of this resolving. If there's any emotional or communal support that I can offer, as always, I'm here. And this is just time. I want to invite you right here, right now, to think about who are the people and where are the communities that you really, want to feel connected to, want to deeply be involved with. That's where you want to interface right now. That's where you want to get closer and lean in. And that's the invitation right here, right now, is where can you connect in? Because all of the suffering creates this sense of isolation and dividedness and helplessness at times. Just really leaning into your community, to your sacred spaces, to the people who you receive reciprocal support from and are really wanting to be connected in to at this time. I think community is the most important thing we can tap into right now as we are learning more and more to take care of ourselves. So I just want to remind you that your sensitivity is a gift and it feels like a burden. I understand. And there is a small step you can take each and every day, which is coming back to love within yourself, really rooting and grounding compassion into yourself and not forcing yourself to take in all of the information. Having energetic boundaries within and without yourself is the most important thing you can do to maintain your energy. Boundaries, boundaries, boundaries. I'm all about it. So, big deep breaths, my friends. I know it's hard right now. We're in it together. I know that can be hard to believe at times too, but I'm here for you. I'm loving you. I'm cheering you on. If I can support in some other way, I am happy to. Please know that the moon circles are completely free and open to literally everyone. Replays are always available. And then I do offer one-on-one support in a variety of formats. And all you have to do is reach out to find out more information or check out one of my websites. Safrianna.com is the best one to go to. To all of my fellow earth-sensitive people out there, this is a hard situation to be in right now. It's hard to feel so much suffering. Again, you're not alone. I see you, I hear you, I believe you, and I am loving you fiercely. Until next time, I'm Safrianna Luna, the Queer Spirit Guide. Bye for now. That brings us to the end of this conversation today. Thanks for being brave enough to walk in the shadows with me. If you found value in this episode, please consider subscribing to Shadowside with Safrianna wherever you listen to your podcasts, and leave a review to help others find the space of transparency and expansion. You can also connect with me at safrianna.com or livinglunas.com for more information. Until next time, know I'm loving you fiercely and cheering you on.